Hello, welcome to the Snap UK. We're here at Chateau Paul with Paul and Jim.
A bit weird if Paul wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. We break in. Just
Record a podcast.
Fuck off. Yeah. I like to think I'd also drink his drinks and eat his crisps, but
they're good crisps. Red Leicester mini cheddars.
They're my crisps. I bought them for you.
That's why.
Jim and Gary can't be here.
No.
Griff and Gary can't be here today. Fucking
all that.
It's near the end of the season,
just start over, I'd say.
Nah, I'm gonna leave it in so it feels real.
Because all the other times it feels fake, right? We're just AI.
Yeah.
The one criticism we get on this podcast is the overproduction, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Too perfect, they say, is on our Apple reviews. So, championship round.
The Super Championship round.
Don't you start.
Enough of that.
He's not put that on the running order. He has put championship round.
I've been learning.
I'm bringing Super back.
Camp next week.
Yeah. The Super Bowl. No, it's the Super Pro Bowl next week. So
nothing super.
No, I mean, it could be so much better. But anyway, so we'll start in order. So the first game, Chiefs beat the Ravens, and it was. I mean, technically, according to the odds, it was a shock. But the Ravens they lost their minds.
I was about to say, I said, yes, the Chiefs beat the Ravens, but the Ravens also beat the Ravens.
The Ravens, yeah, exactly. It's like that meme of the bloke hitting someone on the head with a hammer and everything's called the Ravens. Like like the Ravens. I mean,
meltdown. You wrote meltdown.
Yeah.
In the running order, and I think that's the right word for it.
It is. It's like. The thing I liked about the Chiefs was they came there and they were ready to antagonise them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had the confidence of a team that knows how to win these games. They knew how to rile up Lamar. They knew how to rile up everyone on the defence. They had Kelsey moving Tucker's stuff before the game. Like,
that's good.
Yeah, like it was all just.
They know how to win.
They know that's it. They know how to win these things, and
they've been there a few times.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be Mahomes' 4th Super Bowl. He's 28.
Yeah,
that's the same amount as Peyton Manning.
It's truly ridiculous.
Yeah, it's twice the amount of Aaron Rodgers.
That I'm quite pleased with.
Yeah, I mean, especially now. For fuck's sake. But yeah, as well, like last year, the Ravens went out the playoffs after fucking up at the 1 yard line, trying to jump over the scrum where the Bengals player punched the ball out and stopped the game. This year, they learnt by diving at the 1 yard line. L'Jarius Sneed punches the ball out in an insanely brilliant play.
It was a brilliant play by Sneed. You can't deny that.
Oh, that's like 4 million football IQ, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah,
incredible. I mean, I think I read an interview of him saying, "Yeah, I was behind the play. I couldn't get to him, so I just saw the ball and went for it."
Yeah,
and literally just in the nick of time. But Zay Flowers didn't need to reach over.
No.
He generally could have just got there.
Well, he was as well. He was past. He was past the yellow line, so he could have just taken the thing, and then they'd have had another 3-4 goes to go a yard.
Let's also not forget, like before that play, he was the one that got done for taunting, wasn't he?
He was. He had an eventful 3 minutes.
Yeah.
He got done for taunting on one of the best Ravens plays of the game.
Yep.
About 45-yard gain, gets done for taunting, goes to the sideline, then gets punched out the 1 yard line, damages his hand, smacking it against the seating area where it is, and then you're like, I think at that point, like, You're done, mate.
You knew it was done at that point.
40 million people are watching this.
Yeah. I mean, me and you had a bit of back and forth about taunting.
I don't mind the taunting thing. I just don't see what he did as taunting because was it Snead he stepped on? Stepped over.
Yeah.
I think it was Snead who had
Good
quite. That's it. And but Snead was holding him, so like he's holding his foot, as he tries to get up, which is slightly annoying. And then when he does the step over, Snead doesn't even notice. Like,
no.
As a taunt, I thought I don't mind a taunting call if it's more blatant.
Oh,
but that I don't see.
He pushed him down, and that was blatant. I think it showed a level of immaturity is too strong a word, but a level of lack of experience. Because you saw early in the game, Travis Kelce was absolutely taunting the Ravens defense, and winning a penalty off the back of it. I think that's just experience. There are ways to taunt the opponents where you can get away with it. Most of it just through talking. Because you never get a ref for a flag.
Yeah, for sledging.
Doesn't ever happen. And that's the way to get under their skin. Not anything where you're moving your body or making it physical and whatsoever. You're going to get called up.
Yeah.
But Christian Wilkins mic'd up video.
I love him.
For sledging.
Yeah. No! You don't scare me. But yeah, I think as well, 15 yards for it as well is insane because
it is
I
agree with you there.
A chop
15
block,
yards,
which breaks legs is a similar thing, and this is just a bloke posing.
Just automatic.
No fun down. League, sometimes. But yeah. Anyway,
I think the stepping over a player is more symbolic in the US than it is here.
I think so
because it's Allen Iverson did it in basketball, and that stepping over someone when they're on the floor has a lot more meaning.
It does, and but yeah, still
talk about another Raven that seemed to lose his head, Lamar Jackson.
I've watched the highlights back again of this because I watched it with Gary. We both sat there going, we're watching Mahomes going, fuck it, this is like Brady-like, the way he's game managing this. And then Lamar, you watch it back and they gave him what should be his bread and butter, which is RPO, and each time it seemed you looked up what they were doing, he took the pass, and you're like, mate, you're brilliant with your feet. You're against a defense that throughout the season has been bad against the run. And what did they run it in the end? Like 6 times, something ridiculous.
Lamar Jackson had 8 carries, but they had 16 carries.
That's 16 carries,
in total, which is, to your point, it's just absolutely ridiculous. No one had more than 10 carries. No running back had more than 3 carries.
And every time Gus got the ball, for instance, you go, "Oh, he's made a thing there."
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't see him again, and you'd forget. And it just seems that they just went away from what they were good at.
I feel for me, this has always been my issue with Lamar Jackson, is that he is capable of spectacular. Absolutely. One of his touchdowns was brilliant. And a couple of passes where he escaped the sack. I was like, at one point I thought he was absolutely going to be crunched. Ducks down, comes out of it, makes a pass, 45-yard game. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's absolutely awesome. You are amazing. And then he goes and throws a pass into the end zone in triple coverage.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, mate, come on. You're meant to be the MVPs don't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe the Wonderlic test isn't that bad a barometer,
It's the kind of mistakes that Mahomes doesn't make.
Yeah.
And that Brady never really made, and Peyton Manning never really made. And yes, there's an element of chasing the game, but they got loads of time.
But your Mahomes, your Breeze, your Brady, they know to play the 5-yard slant sometimes.
Exactly, yeah. he was. I hate saying this around you because he was forcing it.
He was.
But he was. It was.
But when you force, like all things in life, when you force it, it's shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can understand almost why he's forcing it in the end, because the defense, like, it just blanketed his receivers. He had no options.
The cornerbacks in Kansas are criminally underrated. Like, we've called out Snead already, but he's had a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
Yes. Very much so.
And he's been great for the last couple of years, but again, they've got good linebackers. Their pass rush isn't brilliant, but it's adequate. But the cornerbacks and the safety, Justin Reed,
such an underrated player.
Always thought he's been brilliant. He's like the one good player that the Texans had. And obviously they couldn't sign him again because it's the Texans.
The Chiefs like to sign the Texans' best safety, don't they?
Yep, absolutely. Like Trent McDuffie's has had a decent season. Drew Tranquil had a decent season. Like, these are all good players.
Carl Aftis has added stuff on the line. I know he's been there a couple of years now, but like, yeah, I mean, and as well, the best rusher in the game was Pacheco.
Yep. And he, like, to be fair, he wasn't that great.
No.
You look at his stats: 24 carries for 68 yards, 2.8 yards a carry. It's not great.
Not great. I mean,
it's just the sum of the parts. The Chiefs they can make things happen. And they had a game plan for dealing with the Ravens in Baltimore. Let's not forget first AFC Championship game being played there. I read before the game, it's like, oh, we're bringing out Ray Lewis, we're going to bring out T. Sizzle, Michael Phelps is going to be in the building. I was like, I don't like this.
No.
It screams.
This feels like a team who feels like they've already won.
Yeah, it screams, oh, we're really confident we're going to win this. And it's like, save that for the homecoming parade when you've got the Super Bowl on you.
Yeah. And the whole time, especially the second half, when they were losing their minds, I was just thinking, this is a team that thought they were going to win.
Yeah.
They've lost their mind that it's not going their way.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's a shame because I really wanted the Ravens to. I think it's nice to see new teams, the Ravens aren't. Ravens have won it a couple of times, but they're not a regular. They're not the dynasty which the Chiefs are.
I think in every sport, when you get the same team winning over and over and over again, it does get a little bit repetitive and boring.
Yeah,
football, Man City, Man United before that.
I never got bored of United.
Yeah,
well, funny that.
There's the man sat here in a United shirt, United joggers. So.
The Patriots, when they kept winning, everyone was bored of that. The difference with the Chiefs and the Patriots is the Chiefs have got a bit more character, both in terms of, I think, their quarterback, but also their head coach as well. I love him.
Yeah.
I can't not love Andy Reid.
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
What also helps set them apart is this going on the road to do it this year. Yeah. Just really kind of cements them as you don't want to face that team. No. And I'd feel sorry for Baltimore, but they're moany bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had lost all sympathy for them, especially like at the end when Smith committed that intentional penalty. It's
just ridiculous.
And it was just stupid. He didn't have to do what he did. You've lost your mind, man. And it's as well. It's a shame for them because the defense still was brilliant.
Yeah,
Mahomes was out eight times no score.
Yeah,
8 drives. That isn't very Chiefs.
No,
but what happens at the end when they need to make a play to draw time? It's a long bomb to Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Who done virtually fuck all for us.
Playoffs
actually.
Yeah,
but sometimes you need that.
Yeah,
you've got in history. You've got those teams that get to the Super Bowl off that player who you're Ricky Prohl.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
a helmet catch guy, David Tyree.
Scotty Miller.
Yeah,
for Brady. You need those players who just
turn up.
And they're on the squad.
Play,
Gabe Davis from Josh Allen a couple of years.
Absolutely.
In games that matter, not Buffalo.
Oh, you
No, he was brilliant in the playoff
game.
I just like upsetting you.
But no, like Valdez Scantling, he was absolutely toilet throughout the season. But in the playoffs, what he gives them a long option, which is the old, the week before, 2 receptions for 62 yards. You're like, what he's not doing anymore, he's not dropping it.
Yeah.
Whereas Kadarius Toney
literally got dropped.
Yeah.
Stonehands Tony.
He I think, did he have a child in the week?
He's come out publicly to say that he's not injured.
Yeah.
Which why? Because that's just saying I've been dropped for my attitude.
Yeah, he was left out of the game with an injury designation, and he tweeted or Instagram, sorry, I'm not injured.
Yeah.
He's not going to be there next year, is he?
No.
Someone will take a chance on him.
Oh yeah, no, I completely believe that, but he's done in Kansas.
Yeah.
And it makes New York getting rid of him seem quite smart.
Yeah.
I mean, the trade to get, at the time, it was a third rounder we got for him. And I was like,
I don't think it was that, was it?
I don't think, no. Joe, I'll look it up. But yeah, he's done. But yeah.
100% done.
Yes.
Anyway.
And good riddance.
I
must make a point. I know we've made this point many times that I didn't know Taylor Swift was such an active part of the NFL.
I don't mind it anymore.
No, but I have issue with it being the NFL Instagram account, the NFL Twitter account, the NFL social media was a Taylor Swift fan club. And I get it brings more fans in, gets more eyes on the product, and that can only be a good thing and bring more money in. But just
they've worked out how much incremental revenue she's driven for the NFL in 4 or 5 weeks. Do you want to take a guess?
I'm going to be disgusted, aren't I?
You probably will. 331 million.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, do some Instagram post and knock yourself out.
Yeah,
I'd like to retract my point if that's okay.
So you can't blame the NFL for going with it, because I would.
Yeah, a third and a sixth for Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
And actually, let's not kid. It was a good trade for both teams.
Yeah.
We got some value for him, and actually he was really good
in the Super Bowl.
Which matters. But yeah, I'm changed on the Taylor Swift thing. I'm like, just let me enjoy it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So you see more cutaways of owners in boxes than you do Taylor Swift. And it's like, actually, do you know what? I'd rather you cut away and have me go up at Taylor Swift than Jerry Jones.
Exactly. I used to hate when like Floyd Mayweather would be turned up to watch like the Rams, and you keep showing Floyd Mayweather, and you're like, well, what's he got to do with this?
How many times has Eminem shown?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I've got no problem with it. And it gets wives and girlfriends into NFL because. Literally, I saw like Taylor Swift fans like doing analysis on Kelsey's catch because they fucking love him, and as well, it was a brilliant only
he had a great game.
He did. Only he makes that catch. Quite frankly, like it was falling, just brilliant. And the one where sort of Mahomes is dancing around, going full Mahomes. Because it turns out as well, Kelsey had run the wrong route. So was just looking for him and then just sort of floats one.
Yeah.
And he's there diving.
Just over the defender. I mean, there were a couple of passes from Mahomes which were absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Like just the touch on the ball that just like went inches over a defender's hand and then just dropped into the receiver's hand.
Yeah.
And that's a master.
Yeah. And actually on the other end, like we can, early on, Lamar was trying, sidearm throws, but like the Chiefs have Chris Jones, who is a brilliant defender and just, gets a hand, through, reading the play.
Has gum and hams for hands.
Yeah, but like gets in the way, and like otherwise that's going for like a bigger play. So yeah. Oh, sorry. Ow. Just headbutted the mic. So I see that Tottenham have scored 2 goals. Was it?
Yeah, it's 2-1.
I fucking hate Tottenham. Anyway, but so should we move on? But yeah, Kelsey now has the most touchdowns in championship games, and has the most playoff receptions in NFL history.
Beating Jerry Rice, where if you're beating Jerry Rice for anything,
You're doing something right.
You're doing all right.
you're going to be wearing a gold jacket.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Not a yellow jacket. He's not going to go on a bike riding.
He's not going to join Pontins. That's Heidi High, wasn't it? Rather than
Heidi High.
Heidi High was Yellow Jackets. Yeah. So, who will the Chiefs face in the Super Bowl? I'd hope for an NFL podcast that I get a quicker answer.
Oh, right.
They're playing the 49ers.
I was expecting some sort of set piece there.
Yeah, I was expecting you were giving me something else there.
Yeah,
you were going to give me a name they were from, like, it's the Plymouth Spartans,
No,
they were in 1938 or something.
Yeah.
No, so it's a repeat of 2020. It's the 49ers playing the Chiefs. So the 49ers beat the Lions. The Lions go out to an early lead. And then, so the Lions take control and then just lost control. It was so Lions. That's what I sort of both love and hate about it.
I won't lie, I was in a pretty foul mood
I can imagine.
at half time.
At half time, I fell asleep, but they were in control, and I was like, well, you know
when you don't touch the TV or the skybox for a while, and that message comes up saying, are you still watching? We're going to turn off in a couple of seconds. Find a controller to stay on. I sat there for a good 10, 20 seconds going, should I just let it turn off?
Yeah.
Should we just end it now and go to bed? Very rarely do I ever think that, but the 49ers in the first half were just abysmal.
Garbage.
Everywhere. Like, missed a field goal. For an interception, defense could not stop the run. Like, every single run was going for a minimum 6 yards.
Yeah.
Minimum. Couldn't tackle. Like, Jameson Williamson just strolled through.
I'm a Williams truther.
Yeah.
Like, he's my new John Ross.
I like the guy.
And he looked great.
Yeah.
Like, when he's at top speed, he's actually frightful.
Yeah. Couldn't get close to Jared Goff. Linebackers were missing tackles. Cornerbacks couldn't get any close to Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it was like a 3rd and 18, which they converted at one point. Come on.
Yeah.
I was pretty annoyed.
Yeah.
Pretty damn annoyed. I text during the Ravens Chiefs match. Gary texted me saying, I don't want to play this Chiefs team. At half time, I text Gary back going, not going to be a problem. Because I was like, and then they come out in the second half, and it's right. First drive goes for a field goal. You're like, oh, fuck's sake, only a field goal, fine. And then Dan Campbell absolutely implodes.
He does.
Because I don't care what anyone says about him having big balls and being brave and that, and it's great that he goes for 4th downs. When you're 4th and 2 and you've got a 14-point lead and you've got a chance to go for a 17-point lead, which is 3 scores, you go for it.
Yes.
Yeah. You just put extra point, because then what happens? The other thing happens. They don't convert, and suddenly there's a momentum swing.
Yeah.
And suddenly they get a bit of luck with an absurd play where the ball bounces off the cornerback's face and into Brandon Ayuk's hands.
The thing about the Lions is what they do relies not only on some skilled players, it relies on so much luck. And in the second half, the luck ran out because Reynolds, who's been pretty good all season, suddenly
missed another. It was a 3rd down conversion.
He missed a 4th down conversion. Yeah. At the 4th one, a short pass, he drops it. That's not what he does.
And that was to go for a field goal to tie the match. And you're like, just get the points, get a tie, get a stop, and go again.
Yeah.
So if you're a Lions fan, I was happy with their decision making. But yeah, there's been a lot of people going, oh no, it's the right thing to do, it's a brave thing to do, it's how he coaches the game, and that's his ethos. Bullshit. You're in the championship game, these things matter.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, they've gone out because he handed the 49ers some momentum and they took it.
That's exactly it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you remember how McVay had that get back coach?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can Campbell get Dan, stop being a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Dan. Remember?
The bloke with like a bucket of water just to be like, no fucking.
Yeah.
Just.
That's
Are you
literally
fucking insane?
Not
Yeah.
even a bucket walk, just a squirt gun. No, bad Dan.
Bad.
He's like, sometimes Gary gets annoyed with Shanahan with his lack of, almost like the complete opposite of Dan Campbell. I can appreciate that because there are times where there has been fourth downs and they've not gone for it. You're like, oh, come on.
He's conservative, isn't he?
He is conservative for such an offensive genius. But Dan Campbell needs a little bit of that.
Yeah.
It's game management.
As well, it wasn't. We can put it on Campbell, and we shall.
Yes.
But also, like I say, you had the Reynolds drop, you had a Gibbs fumble, you had mistakes, and that's the thing.
Even that though, okay, it's 4th and 2, and like I said earlier, every single run's been going for 4 or 5 yards. They averaged 6.3 yards a carry
Yeah.
on 29 carries. They had 150 yards by half time on the ground. Phenomenal. They absolutely destroyed us on the ground. Brilliant. 4th and 2, run the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, you don't like it. A lot of sport, you don't need to galaxy brain these things. What's the sensible thing? If you're not going to kick it, you're 4th and 2. We've been running all through this defense.
Literally, they've not been able to stop Montgomery.
Exactly, but no, sometimes, and I worry because I don't care. But
you'd worry if you're a Lions.
If I was a Lions fan, I'd worry because I think I don't see them being back in this position for a long time because
the NFC's getting better.
The NFC in I'm gonna jinx it now, but the NFC can't get worse. The Eagles are going to have to make changes next year. They can't shit the bed like they did. The Cowboys will go out in the first round of the playoffs. That's what the Cowboys do.
Really Packers will get better.
Packers will get better.
Even you think about if the Vikings had Cousins for the whole season, they would have been a bigger threat as well.
Yeah, there's teams that are going to be better next year just because they're going through transitions at the moment.
Absolutely.
And the Lions, I mean, I don't know what their contract situation is, but I just don't think I just don't see them coming back next year, and it's a shame. But look, the Rams, for instance, Rams are a young team with an elite quarterback who isn't, he's not past it yet.
Yeah.
Give him more options. Give that defense more options. Suddenly, they're going to be back in the fray. Who knows what happens with like the Seahawks or whatever? These teams. It just gets harder for the Lions to be back next year because
the Lions instantly will have $61 million of cap space going to next year. So they got good.
They have options.
They've got a very young team, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. I think it's an average age at the moment of 26.
That's silly, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's the Lions. 49ers, I talked about the first half and how terrible it was. Second half, I can't remember who gave the interview. But they came out, someone asked him, what was the halftime team talk? Oh, it was Brock Purdy interviewed by Peter King. And he was like, there was no screaming and shouting. It was just Kyle Shanahan. He was like, this is what we're going to do. Defense, you're going to get some stops. Offense, this is how we're going to change things. And suddenly everything changed. And yes, they got some luck.
Yeah.
Not going like that.
Yeah, but
I mean, this is one of those things where the Lions, I think for both the Lions and the Ravens, they're good teams. They've had good seasons, but it just felt a step too far against a great team.
What they are two teams that are not used to playing this late in January.
Yeah.
They got beaten by teams who know how to win. And, like, Klopp always goes on about it, like, the mentality monsters. But you look and, like, they have a case. That, you know, there's a reason why the same teams generally win. It's because not only, you know, sometimes they have the best players, but also they have the players that are used to playing in crunch football. And like Lamar and some of the Lions players just don't have that mentality. No. It can be developed.
George Kittle said, I think he said at the end of the game, he's like, "I'll go lie, we were beaten in the first half." There's a video of him during the second half going, "I can't wait for full time because that's when we're going to say, told you, told you."
He keep running up to random people, like random 49ers going, "It's all right, at full time we're gonna say we deserve that win," and you're like,
But you're right. It's mentality.
It's mentality.
It's leadership. It's mentality. It's just the belief, and you've got to have it.
I remember listening to I can't remember. It was a Chelsea player, and he was on about when they got to a cup semi-final, and they'd watch Didier Drogba in the tunnel, and suddenly, it was like he was 10 feet tall, and you could see people around him. The other players were scared at the prospect, and he beat them before he even entered the game. And I think for people like Kelsey, Mahomes, Chris Jones, and I know Purdy's young, but you know McCaffrey and these players, Fred Warner,
Fred Warner has an aura.
They have auras. That's it, and they mentally, you see them, you go, "I'm going to have to be perfect today."
Yeah.
And when you see it bounce off the bloke's visor, you're like, oh, "Okay, yeah, we've run out of luck here."
Yeah, I mean, there was obviously a massive dose of luck, but there's also a level of, like Brandon Ayuk, and I said it on commentary, the concentration.
Yeah.
To stay with it, to be able to then react, catch the ball again. And he was actually unlucky not to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Actually a great play by the Lions defender to recover and make sure he touched him down. But those little things just come back. And then, you know, Christian McCaffrey then actually starts playing brilliantly.
Yeah.
And just the offensive line just starts opening up holes.
And did you see on the other side, Gardner Johnson waving to the fans at half time to say like goodbye, you know, and you're like, it's too early, mate.
He's someone who
I like him as a player.
Oh, I don't like him anymore.
I like him as a player.
I like him as a player.
But as a person, I'm so glad he got a comeuppance.
When after Purdy threw that interception, he basically just knocked over Debo. So he got flagged for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely cleaned him out. Like, there was no need for that.
Yeah.
That's just, you know, they've had a beef running for a few months. In the end, Debo's had the last laugh. 8 receptions, 89 yards.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's
his team have won.
Yeah. So we will preview the Super Bowl next week.
We haven't talked about Brock Purdy though.
No, and we will because he's brilliant.
Yeah.
In the second half.
Can we take the tag off? Like, also the 49ers now can't come from a deficit.
I never believe in those things anyway because how often do the 49ers go behind? They are bullies.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they went through a bad patch when Williams was injured and Debo was injured. But yeah, other than that, like, I've been you watch on a Sunday, the first thing you see is McCaffrey score a touchdown at 3 minutes past, you know, the 6 o'clock or 9:30, and you're like, well, I'll probably just watch Red Zone then. You know, I think people can look for those sort of stats and find them, but you know, it's about game state, and actually most of the time they're leading. So yeah, but Brock Purdy, yeah, he struggled in the first half.
Yeah,
but in the second half, well, in the first half, like Lamar, I thought he was forcing it.
Yeah,
and you know, it's still new to him. Like, you have to remember this time last year, he'd had effectively the worst day of his career when he had his shoulder planted into the floor by Hargrave. and then was he the one who came back on the pitch at the end of the
he came
game
back on.
to hand off to McCaffrey?
All they could do was run it.
Yeah.
He literally couldn't throw it. Mechanically could not throw it.
Yeah.
I thought there was you saw him scrambling a few times, and it was like, didn't know he had that pace.
Yeah.
Good decision. Things that Lamar should have done more of. And then there were a couple of throws where he just stood in the pocket and got absolutely creamed.
Yeah.
After he threw it, but made the connection. It's like, so he can do both.
I think he's been very unfairly criticised.
Has, yeah.
He's a system quarterback. Why is that a criticism?
Yeah.
If he's in the system and he's playing well in it, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy G's a system quarterback, but it's just not working. I don't get. I think people get tired of the story, don't they? Because he was Mr. Irrelevant, and he's. But actually, I like that story, and still, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the Netflix film that comes out in 2 years' time if he wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh yeah, who's Kevin James going to play?
Sean Payton again.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah. Yeah.
Then they're going to have Adam Sandler playing Shanahan.
Good.
Anyway, so yeah, no. Purdy, he's just great. He's great to watch.
Just so calm.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like nothing but for an interception. Oh.
Yeah, and
fine.
I know, last year people were like, oh, because he was a late round pick. Oh, that's I think they wanted to make the Brady comparisons, and that's their fault. If he, bizarrely, he might not be as good as Tom Brady.
Shock.
I know, who'd have thought it? But if that's your, you're upset that he isn't as good as Tom Brady, just maybe calm the fuck down.
I think a lot of this criticism comes from if I was a Dallas fan and I knew we were paying Dak 60 something stupid million next season, and the 49ers are paying that guy £4.50 in a bag of beans, I'd be pretty angry as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll get in. Well, I'm sure we'll mention Dak a bit over the off season. I think there's some season postmortems we need to go over, and I think the Cowboys and the Chargers, amongst many, will be covered. So, as I say, we're going to preview the Super Bowl next week. When there might be more of us next week, we don't know. But let's wait for next week to do the hype. I went back to our pre-week one podcast.
It's a good listen.
It was there was one guy on it who was so funny. He was so handsome, Johnny, I think his name was, and
handsome on a podcast.
Yeah, you could just tell from his voice that
one of these visualized podcasts.
Yeah, no. You just but you could listen and go, God, that's a handsome voice. Like listen to Sam Neill,
Morgan Freeman,
yeah. You can just tell they've got a handsome face. So
Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, I'm more like Jimmy Cranky, but it's fine.
Radio.
Yes. So we predicted our Super Bowls, and for the first time ever, we've never had a guy predict both teams in the Super Bowl.
Amazing.
We've had people predict one. We generally get one. Sometimes we'll get someone predict a winner, because when Gary predicted the Rams,
how could we forget?
And then once shut up about it. So Jim has predicted a 49ers Chiefs Super Bowl.
There we go.
He also predicted a Chiefs win.
Yeah.
So let's see how that goes. Because will you be supporting your pick or your team?
My team, obviously.
Yeah. Gary went Eagles Chiefs. Paul went Eagles Chiefs. Griff went 49ers Bengals. I went 49ers Bengals. And Steve, our friend, who we let have a pick, he predicted the Eagles Bills. So he was the only one not to get it, which is why he's not allowed on the podcast.
Proper shit the bed there.
Yeah. Admittedly, so 3 people predicted the Chiefs to win at the start of the season. So Jim, Gary, and Paul. I predicted the 49ers. Griff predicted the 49ers in the Super Bowl, but he predicted them losing to the Bengals. So we'll see what happens next week and whether people stick with their assumptions from 20 weeks ago.
I've gone for the Chiefs pretty much every year since Mahomes was drafted.
No, because I remember you predicted the Chiefs winning under Alex Smith.
The year Mahomes was drafted, yeah.
Oh, since he was drafted, yeah. So yeah, the Mahomes. I thought he meant the start since he started playing, but yeah, I remember this.
They went 6-0 that year. It was great. I felt like I was walking on air.
Yeah, no. So news, and it's all head coach and coordinator and GM related. So, breaking news today: the Seahawks have signed Mike Macdonald as their head coach. He joins from the Ravens, where he was their DC. Where, I mean, it's been an impressive defense.
Yeah, has been.
Definitely wasn't interviewing while the team was getting ready.
Well, who knows? We know he was. But the main thing, my main takeaway is I'm really glad Josh McDaniels got fired in the season, because I couldn't take Josh McDaniels, Mike McDaniel, and Mike McDonald. That's so. Yeah, the fact that we can just get confused between the two of them is fine. I think he's now the youngest head coach, Mike McDonald.
Taking over from the oldest head coach.
Yeah,
irony there.
So they've done an about flip, which is generally what bad organisations do. So we'll see what the Seahawks are, because I don't think they're a bad organisation.
No, they're a good organisation.
Yeah,
I like the hire.
I think it's all right. You know, what is their strength? It's their defence.
Always has been.
You know, they've lost their offensive coordinator, haven't they? So if they can get the right person in, you know, they have weapons there. You know, no matter what you think of Geno, DK Metcalf had his most productive year in terms of yards. Tyler Lockett,
the most criminally underrated wideout in the league.
I know, but I did say I think it's going to be a down year for Tyler Lockett.
It was a down year. But in terms of production, but what he doesn't do, he doesn't drop it. He never drops.
This is true.
He'd
do well somewhere like Kansas.
Yeah, they really would.
He really would, yeah.
Elsewhere, the Falcons signed Raheem Morris. So he's joined from the Rams. But he was.
And the betting now has Belichick having a less than 4% chance of getting another coaching job. Now, I apologise for cutting in on you here. Could I tell you the crazy conspiracy theory I heard? Which I absolutely loved.
Now that we haven't got the Super Bowl logo colours representing the team's conspiracy, that's been thrown out the window. We need another good one.
So, in the year 2000, Tom Brady came out of Michigan in his 3rd year. You have 4 years of eligibility at college. So, after not being an active player for a year, he now gets his amateur status back. So the crazy conspiracy theory I heard today is that Belichick is going to go and be the head coach at Michigan, and Tom Brady could go in and play quarterback for his final year of eligibility at Michigan.
I don't see that happening.
I'm pretty sure Michigan have already hired a head coach. I'm pretty sure they promoted their offensive coordinator.
Oh, they're the Wolverines, aren't they?
Yeah. I know. It's still expectations. So, no? Okay. It could still happen.
I don't see it. I think I see a future, a year spent maybe in a studio.
Yes.
Because actually, away from a press conference, he's actually good value.
When he did the 100 greatest players, NFL players, he was actually really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't surprise you that he was really good in terms of like his knowledge, but didn't seem like the old curmudgeon that he does when he's on a press conference.
Yeah, no, I think I still think it's an act that. He's playing a character, and actually, he's quite gregarious. Like I saw footage of him when he was Cleveland's head coach on a cookery show, And it's just funny to watch. This man with this sort of bouffant, cooking, and being very, very, nice. And you're like, oh, it's weird. But yeah, so back to the Falcons. Raheem Morris doesn't have a great CV as a head coach.
I mean, the Falcons was the place that was favoured to hire Bill Belichick.
Yeah, they interviewed 14 people.
I don't mind that,
and
I'm good with that.
No,
I actually quite like that. See what's going on.
They did. I like the fact that you can go interview 14 people, get a complete view of what's available.
Yeah,
I don't think you then sign Raheem Morris.
No,
but I just have to assume someone like Mike Vrabel is a really bad interviewer.
Yeah, because that's the other big name that stood out there, obviously, and there seems to be absolutely no buzz about him getting any of these jobs.
No, not at all. So we'll mention the ones that are still going, but yeah,
There's only one now.
Yes, the one still going. Elsewhere, so the Falcons have brought in Jimmy Lake, also from the Rams, who has worked with Morris before at the Bucs when he was head coach, and they brought in Zach Robinson, who was also from the Rams. So basically, at the moment, it's Sean McVay in Los Angeles.
Screwed, haven't they?
Yeah, Los Angeles is very, very lonely. And do you know what will happen? They'll be fine because that's what happens at Los Angeles.
Organisations.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I'll come on to a bit later, but it's what good organisations do in terms of grooming coaches.
Yeah.
I use the word grooming coaches to take place of coordinators, because
having succession plans and stuff there.
You get the coordinators. If they're good, they're going to get hired.
Yeah.
So you need to have that plan in place.
So we mentioned last week that Sirianni is staying at the Eagles, and they're cleaning house underneath him. They've brought in Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator, and Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator. Apparently, they did want him last year.
They fucked it up, though. They let him go to the Dolphins.
Well, it's because of the tapping up situation that they were involved with, because they lost a draft pick because of it, and so did the Cardinals because of Gannon. So they couldn't get him last year. So because of that, he never wanted to be in Miami because his family are in Pennsylvania. So it looks like it's finally lined up. I think they're due some change in the playing staff there.
There's a phrase in United States when they're voting for a president and the vice president is a big heavyweight. It's like that's a lot of weight on the bottom of the ticket.
Yeah,
that's how I'm feeling about Philadelphia at the moment. There's Kellen Moore, who's often been touted as a potential head coach, and Vic Fangio, who has been a head coach of what was actually an all right Broncos team, bar the quarterback, and is considered one of the best defensive coordinators in the game. That's a lot of weight at the bottom of the ticket in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I saw an interview with Sirianni, and they were like, if Kellen Moore's coming in and calling plays, and you've got Vic Fangio in at defense, what is your job? And he's just like, I'm the head coach. Yeah, it's and it's true.
That's absolutely true.
It's he's organising everything. He's
accountable.
He's the one accountable.
Yeah.
But that's a heavyweight.
Yeah. And also, it's not one of those organisations where you feel like the head coach has a lot of say in personnel decisions.
No. Well, it's all Howie Roseman there, isn't it?
So I think it's a genuine question around what are you doing? Maybe unfair, but I get why it's asked.
I think it's slightly unfair because there's quite a few organisations where the head coach doesn't call the plays. He's there. He's setting up the game plan with them. It's just so. Elsewhere, Ken Dorsey is in offensive coordinator for the Browns. He was the one who was smashing his Microsoft Surface pad up after a last-minute fuck-up a couple of years ago. He got fired by the Browns this year. The Bills retain Joe Brady, offensive coordinator, who replaced, obviously, Dorsey. So some continuation. It looked like the change made a difference.
It did. They played much better once they brought him in.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Dorsey started off all right. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see it as a terrible decision for the Browns to take him.
Not. I don't see it.
But if there is one terrible decision I could call out, it's Arthur Smith going to the Steelers.
Oh,
I don't see it. I like it.
I like that.
Nah.
He was a great offensive coordinator in Tennessee.
I would be if I had Derrick Henry.
Well, he's got Najee Harris.
Brilliant. Yeah, like
Okay, he's not.
I have
Derrick
ice
Henry.
cream, you have cow manure.
It's not a sexy pick because
think
of.
so. No, I agree that, but I think it's the perfect person with the perfect type of play for that city and that team.
Fair enough. Because there's, when I think of, industrial steel, working hard, I bring in the son of the billionaire.
I don't think it's that. I think it's more.
I just want to shit on it.
Yeah, no, you can go ahead and mention the fact that he is the son of the billionaire, but he also plays a very hard-nosed brand of football.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Tomlin's said it throughout. He wanted an experienced person in charge. Of the people they interviewed, he was the only one. He was the most experienced. And I don't hate it.
No, I think he's going to be one of those people that is a better coordinator than he is a head coach.
But yeah, and as well, it's for Tomlin. If it doesn't work, it's great. You just move him out.
Yeah,
So
good experience with a very average quarterback in Ryan Tannehill as well. Tannehill was nothing before he went to Tennessee already.
An injured Miami quarterback, yeah.
Yeah, and turned him into a pretty good quarterback. So who's saying he can't do the same with Kenny Pickett?
I'm saying.
Well, but also I don't think that's all going to be all on Smith because I just think they're cursed at that position.
So.
Patriots hire DeMarcus Covington to defensive coordinator, so promote from in-house.
Yeah, again, perfect.
Yep,
smart.
Yep.
The Bears hire Eric Washington as their defensive coordinator. So he was previously at the Bills, where he was assistant head coach. So 2 new coordinators in Chicago. And Joe Hoyts is the Chargers GM, and he was Ravens head of player personnel. And that is welcome to the big leagues, Joe. You have a few months of pain ahead of you, working out what the fuck to do with what you've been left.
You've actually missed out the biggest news story, which we didn't talk about last week.
What's that?
We didn't talk about Jim Harbaugh last week, did we?
Do you know what? I don't think we did. I think it was because we mentioned that it's there.
Yeah.
So actually, we should actually.
I think it was confirmed kind of when we were leaving.
I think when we were leaving. So yeah, Jim Harbaugh is in, which is great.
I like the fact that they've gone Jim Harbaugh first and then found the Chargers GM. Also from the Ravens, obviously where his brother is head coach. He's gonna have a good level of knowledge about who this person is. Ravens generally are a very good, very, very good front office.
Yep.
It'll be interesting where the power lies. It's probably going to be with Jim Harbaugh.
Me and John are brothers, right? If I had a team and he came in and stole one of my stuff, I wouldn't give him my best. I'd prank him. You have
to remember as well.
He a good GM? Oh yeah, he's the best. Yeah.
Didn't Mike McDonald come from Michigan? Because I think he let him go because he thought, especially Jim at the time, thought he was going to get an NFL job, so just let him go. So he ended up working with his brother. So I think that there's a tight relationship between them.
Quid pro quo.
Yeah. Jim Harbaugh at the Chargers, then I
love it.
I know you're a down on Justin Herbert. I think if Justin Herbert can't do it with Jim Harbaugh as his coach, then I'll join your Justin Herbert isn't all that.
Yeah, it's a big season for the Chargers next season. Just like this season was a big season for them. Staley was the wrong man. They've taken a positive step in that direction. Let's see what they do.
Yeah,
you'd struggle to find someone better than Harbaugh.
Yeah, no, I think it's very non-Chargersy because I thought it was the right move.
Yeah, and normally they don't go for a big name head coach. They find a not obscure but slightly underrated
galaxy brain decision. It's like Staley was the statistician, he's gonna, and then it was
turned out to be shit.
It's appalling.
It turned out to be shit. Yeah.
So the only top job left, Seahawks. They have interviewed. Sorry,
Commanders.
Yeah, we have Commanders. Even sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. So yeah, Commanders.
When you say top job, when you say
I mean head coach,
the only available job.
Thank you. So they have interviewed Bieniemy, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Dan Quinn, Bobby Slowick, Anthony Weaver. Ben Johnson is staying at the Lions,
as announced by Eminem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bobby Slowick is staying at the Texans.
That's good for them.
It's too early for Bobby Slowick.
Yeah, but
Ben Johnson one surprises me.
Yeah, I thought
because he was generally the hot candidate coming into this cycle.
He was the housewife's choice, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think he's probably the favourite to go to Commanders. I think that whilst they have interviewed other people, I'd say they probably put quite a lot of their eggs in that basket and are probably a little bit pissed off that he's decided to stay. I think for his point of view, you see coordinators go off and take jobs and it not be the right job and suddenly they don't get another chance again.
Yeah.
He's probably sitting going, do I want that? Is that the right job? Commanders right now?
When Steve Wicks left to go to Arizona.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels very much like that if he'd have gone.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah. So, anyone there that none of us are Commanders fans, but
the enemy. Just give him a go. What have you got to lose? He was an integral part of a team that knew how to win. He's been there a year. He understands the philosophy. Just give him a effing chance. What have you got to lose? He's respected.
Yeah. None of them excite me.
None of them excite me. Mike McDonald's obviously already gone. Johnson said no. Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator. Yeah, all right, fine. Bobby Slowick's not going to do it. Dan Quinn, well, you've just shipped 48 points to the Packers and absolutely shit the bed. And I know, but you also, let's not forget, he was the head coach when Falcons threw away a 28-3 lead.
Yep.
Is that what you want? No, I don't like it. I think this is probably the hardest position to hire for because of everything that's happening in Washington. I'd want someone who has got experience building a team and rebuilding an organization. For me, it's kind of almost a shame that Ron Rivera was the head coach previously.
Yeah,
because it's Ron Rivera. Or if Tom Coughlin was 20 years younger, I'd go, let's bring in Tom Coughlin.
Yeah.
The only reason I think this isn't a landing spot for Bill Belichick is because they've got Adam Peters, the GM that they've just brought in, and I think there'd be a power struggle there. Because Belichick obviously wants a lot more power than other organisations are prepared to give him. So you've got to find some middle ground. Vrabel, for me, would be the obvious one.
Vrabel would be the obvious one to me.
I don't understand.
Agree. Very much agree.
If he can get on with Adam Peters, if they can just sit and go, right, what are we doing when it comes to player personnel decisions? Are we in agreement? And if they can get that far, that'd be a steal. Because he'd build a culture, and that's what they need. They need to rebuild the culture.
That's it, yeah. And I know it isn't sexy, and I know they've got new owners who probably want to, but you're Washington.
Yeah.
Like you're a franchise most of the time mired in controversy and being shit.
For the last 20 years. But you go back before that, and you think about those Washington franchises that did win Super Bowls. They were built on like that offensive line, the Hogs. And who was the running back?
Riggins.
John Riggins. And it's like, that's Vrabel type football.
Yeah.
That would work so well. If it's like, right, see that team that we had in the early mid 80s that was really hard nosed, strong, powerful. blue collar type franchise. Let's go back to that.
Yeah. No, I love it. I don't love it because I'm not a Commanders fan. But if I was a Commanders fan, it's not going to excite me. But I think I also have to be realistic that if it was stuff that's going to excite me, it's going to go wrong.
But you know,
just be sensible.
It would excite me that.
Yeah.
Getting back to what that franchise is all about, getting back to our roots and going, right, we're going to be this fucking ugly team and we're going to embrace it.
And have Sam Howell just slinging dicks and people running behind him through people.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
We're going to go out, we're going to sign Derrick Henry.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
We're going to spend all our draft picks on the offensive line. Do you know?
Well, exactly. The thing with the Commanders is, it's a team that's been mired in meh for too long. What's their draft? Their cap space is $73 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that suddenly becomes a more desirable job.
They've got the most cap space going into next year at the moment.
Like, you've got Scary Terry.
Yep.
Like, just get someone who can get the ball in his fucking hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I quite like Brian Robinson, but he doesn't make a full rushing attack. You could have if you could have options.
If you had him as part of a 1-2 punch, it'd be good.
Yeah.
Just go out and give Derrick Henry a 2-year contract.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs,
got the
Saquon,
yeah.
all these fucking players.
There are absolutely loads.
There are so many free agent running backs.
Yeah.
So yeah, just fucking Kirk.
Yeah,
is free.
Bring Kirk back.
There's there's so many free agents. Just make a play. That's all you want. But yeah. We'll come back because we might do if they haven't hired anyone by next week, we might do what would you do situation with everyone.
Yeah.
So, Pro Bowl.
I've heard of it.
It's this weekend. Okay.
I didn't book Monday off. So
I know. So I'm going to be very tired on Monday.
I think it might be on at 9:00. Actually.
Yeah.
Still not going to watch it.
I'm not going to watch it. I can't. The very best thing about the Pro Bowl is I can see the best bits of it on Instagram afterwards because it's the skill challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll catch the 20-minute highlight show on YouTube. Yeah,
exactly. So, but because it's the Pro Bowl, we're going to pick our All-Pro team for the season. So, we've got some spaces to fill. I asked you guys to submit players earlier. I've also got responses from Gary and Griff. So, responses summary. Okay, so we've also got the our awards for next week.
Do you want me to fill them in?
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
You can focus on the short list.
So, we had 2 names for quarterback.
Yeah, I bet I know whose names they are.
Would you like to guess?
Well, I know my vote, so I know there's Brock Purdy was in there.
Who was the other one, do you think?
Lamar.
We have 2 votes for Brock Purdy. We have 3 votes for Josh Allen.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I'm happy with that.
Were you a Josh Allen?
No.
So I'm with the 2 Purdys.
You are.
So yeah, me, Griff, and Gary went for Josh Allen, which I think is based purely on the second half of the season. But it's been really hard for quarterback. No one's been. Purdy's the most consistent. Yeah. Josh Allen's highs are higher, his lows are lower. But yeah, anyone want to guess at running back?
Surely there's only one, right?
There is one.
Okay.
I mean, admittedly, it's spelt 4 different ways throughout. But yes, it's Christian McCaffrey. He's our first unanimous All-Pro.
Excellent.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to win Offensive Player of the Year.
Yes.
And actually, he should be. He's in the shortlist for MVP, isn't he?
He is in the shortlist. Yeah. We'll do our MVPs next week, I think, before the Super Bowl. So, we have 3 wide receivers. Wide receiver number 1 is not unanimous because someone had him as wide receiver 2. I'm going to guess that's Gary, based on who he's got as number 1. So, wide receiver number 1, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, had a great season.
Yeah, 1,700. Yeah, 700 and something yards.
At some point, he's going to get I'd love him to get a 2,000-yard season.
This was his opportunity. He showed me he was injured, so he had a couple of games where he wasn't right.
And as well, just the Dolphins just tailed off, which is what they do.
If he does it, I want him to do it in 16 games.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So, wide receiver number 2. We have, of the people not picked, so we have CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, another vote for CeeDee Lamb. We also have Puka Nacua has 3 votes at wide receiver 3.
We put him in. Well,
So I think we put him in.
we give him a slot, yeah.
We give him a slot because I think wide receiver number 3 is CeeDee Lamb. Also mentioned Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I know because I voted for him, Mike Evans.
Good, but not as good as the others.
Yeah.
He was in my consideration, but
I had Mike Evans at 2.
I didn't vote for CeeDee Lamb.
And I voted for CeeDee Lamb at 3.
I voted for CeeDee Lamb at 2.
But yeah, because everyone voted for Puka Nacua, but 4 people voted for CeeDee Lamb, we'll have CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver number 3.
All right.
Tight end. We have 3 people named. We have 3 votes, though, for Sam Laporta, our second rookie after Puka.
If I can give you
Also votes for Kittle and Kelsey.
my thought pattern with Laporta, because I voted for him for this, was he wasn't going to win any of the awards based on some of the other people forward, and I wanted him to get some recognition for this great season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the thinking.
We have our second unanimous pick.
Yeah, good.
It's at left tackle.
Trent Williams.
Yeah.
It's Trent Williams.
It had to be.
So we have 2 unanimous picks so far, both from the 49ers.
But both complementing each other, really.
They give them a little
No, we
star
are.
as unanimous.
Yep. We have no Chiefs picked so far. They are in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
At right tackle, we have 2 players named. Penei Sewell has 3 picks. Lane Johnson has 2. Both of them would be excellent choices.
The whole line, the offensive line,
Yeah.
was amazing this year.
It's been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't pick Lane. I love Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson is great. I just think Penei Sewell is a thing. Guard. We have 2 guard positions. So we have. I'm just doing this because so. Yes. So we have a standout, which is, anyone guess? It's Chris Lindstrom. Then we have a draw.
Okay.
We
How have we got a
have,
draw? Oh, hang on.
because we've got 5 people picking 2 positions. We have a draw between Zach Martin and Joe Tunney. Zach Martin.
I don't think I voted for either of those.
No, you didn't. You voted for Kevin Dotson.
Yeah.
And Lindstrom.
And Lindstrom, yeah. For me,
Because you didn't pick either of them,
yeah.
and we did, who would you pick out of Martin and Tunney?
Tunney.
I think, even though I picked Zach Martin, I think it's mainly because I forgot Joe Tunney.
So did I, apparently.
Yeah. Also picked were Shaq Mason and Kevin Dotson. Okay. Centre. We have two picks. Frank Ragnow with 3. Jason Kelsey with 2. So it's Frank Ragnow's.
Fair enough.
And if you watched him in the game against the Bucks, where basically he was walking wounded, like the
And still dominant.
and still dominant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So we have 2 edge rushers. The first one, Myles Garrett.
Unanimous?
No.
Sorry.
Picked
What?
by 4.
Wow.
I picked him at 2.
Yeah, I know. I picked him at 1.
I picked him at 1.
Gary loves him, so it must have been Griff that didn't.
I didn't pick him at 1.
Griff
I picked him at 2.
Griff picked TJ Watt and Josh Allen.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So
Second edge rusher then?
TJ Watt with 3. Also, 4. 4, sorry. I didn't pick him. I picked Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons.
Well, you were wrong.
And I was wrong. So it also picked was Josh Allen with 1. So what do we know? But yeah, I mean, effectively, did TJ Watt get sack leader?
Yes, he did.
No picks for Bosa. I did expect a Nick Bosa.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a good season, 10.5 sacks, but he's not had a dominant
No.
season.
No.
So, yeah, I picked Garrett and TJ Watt. I think they've both been more dominant than most this year.
I
Yep.
agree. The 2 I picked as well.
Interior defensive line. We have a few people picked. So Dexter Lawrence gets 2. Chris Jones gets 3. Madubuike gets 1. Ed Oliver gets 1. Quinnen Williams gets 2. So it is Chris Jones and either Dexter Lawrence or Quinnen Williams. I picked Dexter Lawrence and Quinnen Williams.
I picked Dexter Lawrence.
Did you what Jim?
I picked Madubuike and Ed Oliver.
Yeah. So Dexter Lawrence or Quinnen Williams? Who's your pick?
Probably neither.
Your picks is Madubuike or Ed Oliver.
Let's go Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence. Cool. I think Williams has been good, but actually, if you look at PFF as well, Dexter Lawrence is far ahead of everyone. Linebacker.
Ed Oliver had 1 game with no pressures this year.
Yeah.
Consistent.
But
Better be a consensus one here.
so
I'm putting him in already.
yeah, he might be picked. So 1, 2, 3. So he's not consensus.
Who are we talking?
Fred Warner.
I have him at 2.
Yep, he gets 4 votes. So he's in. Actually, with 5 votes is Roquan Smith.
That's a unanimous vote then. Grant
Yeah.
Max, I also voted for Roquan Smith, obviously. He's also been absolutely brilliant this year.
Behind them. So we have Bobby Wagner with a vote, Zaire Franklin, Demario Davis, CJ Mosley, Owusu Kramoa, and Cashman. So we have 6 players with 1 vote.
Well, can I
Someone has picked like Zaire Franklin, for instance, over Fred Warner. I don't know who it is. I need to go into the responses. Was it you? Did you forget Fred Warner?
Oh, yeah, I did, yeah.
Okay. No. Each to your own.
I did. I remember picking Zaire Franklin. I'd like to put a case forward for Bobby Wagner just as a stat leader. Total tackles.
Total tackles, he was top.
Yeah.
No, not top. He was 4th.
Oh, I thought he was top.
No, solo tackles. He had 96 in total. For Sadie Alukan, the Jacksonville Jaguars had 111. Wow. And Zaire Franklin had 107.
Zaire Franklin, isn't it?
I don't know how we're going to pick this.
Twitter vote.
I don't think we're going to get much traction on a
Is
pick the third linebacker in our.
Yeah.
So we have a choice between Bobby Wagner, Zaire Franklin, Demario Davis, C.J. Mosley, Owusu Kramoa, and Cashman.
I picked Demario Davis. I can't remember why.
I picked C.J. Mosley because I just thought he was really, really good, but in a Jets defense that was on the pitch a lot.
I reckon Zaire Franklin, just for the fact that he's one of the best tacklers.
Zaire Franklin makes the Snap UK All-Pro team.
Right, cornerbacks.
So we have, it's not unanimous, but our number one, Charvarius Ward. Yes. Behind him, cornerback number 2, Deron Bland. We also have votes for L'Jarius Sneed and Jalen Johnson.
Both were in my consideration.
And Sauce Gardner.
I don't think Sauce had that great a season.
Compared to last season where he seemed impenetrable.
Ward's had an amazing season.
Yeah. So...
and also Deron Bland with 9 interceptions in the first
six pick sixes. 5 pick sixes, I think, ridiculous in the amount. And I mean, even in a Chiefs team that's been had its struggles, Snead's been brilliant throughout the season.
He has been.
Safety. We have a unanimous.
Ooh.
Jesse Bates.
Yes.
Because he's been magnificent.
He's been magnificent.
And you've seen a drop-off in the Bengals from him disappearing.
Yes.
Yep.
He's kept Falcons in games.
Yes.
Pretty much by himself.
We also did our votes for, the things of the year, and I was really close to having missed my defensive player of the year because, no one's been a one-man team quite like Jesse Bates.
Yeah, it's a fair shout.
Completely agree.
Behind him, Antoine Winfield has 3 votes. We also have one for Brian Branch and Hamilton, the musical.
Wicked.
Do you love that musical?
It's not unanimous at kicker because we have 4 votes for Brandon Aubrey. We also have another vote for Koo. But, it is Brandon Aubrey, which is fair enough. Another rookie.
99%.
99% accurate.
That's right, yeah.
Our last position, kick returner.
But we had 5 different people, didn't we?
So, we had Beck, Shaheed, Kayshawn Nixon, Darius Davis, and Kayshawn Jones. So,
the battle of the Kayshawns.
I mean, how much energy do you want to expend on kick returners?
We have 5 all-pro kick returners in our team. Is that what we're saying?
Well, my vote was Darius Davis, and I just took it on average yards per punt return, which was 16. He had a long 87 and a touchdown.
Well, I think Kayshawn Nixon has the most return yards.
That's why I went for him.
You've written Jones rather than Nixon. So then, if Paul, the Packers, Paul meant Kayshawn Nixon, which case he has 2 votes.
Fine.
I'm about to say I don't know who Kayshawn Jones is, but Kayshawn Nixon is the Packers returner, and he has the most return yard this season, by quite a distance.
There we go. Then.
So
I meant him.
Yeah, awesome. So we now have our All-Pro team.
Yep, want to go for it?
Yes, please.
So the offense, quarterback Josh Allen, running back Christian McCaffrey, wide receivers Tyreek Hill, Puka Nacua, and CeeDee Lamb. Tight end is Sam Laporta, left tackle Trent Williams, right tackle Penei Sewell, guards Chris Lindstrom and Joe Tooney, and centre is Frank Ragnow. Pretty decent.
Pretty
Defensive side of things, 2 edge rushers, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. Interior defensive line, Chris Jones and Dexter Lawrence. Three linebackers, Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, and Zaire Franklin. Cornerbacks, Travarius Ward and Deron Bland. And safeties, Jesse Bates and Antoine Winfield. Brandon Aubrey's our kicker, and Keyshawn Nixon is our punt and kick return.
And who are unanimous all pros in that?
Unanimous was Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Roquan Smith, and Jesse Bates.
Nice. Very deserving they are too.
Yeah. I'm sure that is better than anything the American public could put together.
So, we'll leave you there. We'll come back next week where we'll preview the Super Bowl. Enjoy.
Do you know how much... Sorry, just a quick one. I heard this, apparently, because it's in Las Vegas, all the hotels are buying up the tickets to give to their, obviously, kind of big casino rollers.
Oh, really?
And the minimum price for a ticket is 70% more than what it was last year. Do you want to take a guess at what's the lowest cost ticket?
I think I saw this. Was it $8,000?
Oh, you're close. It's a bit higher. $9,800, I heard.
Fucking
It's
hell.
probably gone up by now as well. I mean, how bad at gambling have you got to be where the hotel is just like, here, have some Super Bowl tickets to come? It's like, yeah, I'm really not very good at this.
Yeah. We'll come back next week and we'll discuss what's going on. If the Commanders have pulled their finger out and actually hired someone to lead them. But also, we'll discuss the Super Bowl and the best weekend of the year. Until then, see you later. Bye.